Breaking. Israel orders civilians out of central Gaza. What's next for the region? Heart-wrenching upheaval grips central Gaza as Israeli forces demand the immediate evacuation of Palestinians from Deir el-Balah. But here's where it gets controversial. Israel insists this is a targeted push against Hamas in a zone it has never entered before, while many civilians worry these orders will only deepen their suffering. On Sunday, Avichay Adraee, Israel's Arabic-language spokesperson, took to X, formerly Twitter, to announce the warning. He urged both longtime residents and families who have already been displaced to move south toward the narrow al-Mawasi coastal strip on the Mediterranean for their own safety. Deir el-Balah lies roughly in the middle of Gaza's 25-mile-long territory, and this evacuation call marks the latest in a series of large-scale relocations that have reshaped the daily lives of more than 2 million Palestinians. Since the conflict began 22 months ago, most Gazans have been uprooted at least once. In fact, the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reported in January that over 80% of the Gaza Strip remains under standing evacuation orders from Israel. That statistic alone raises delicate questions about compliance with international humanitarian law and the practical ability of aid agencies to reach those in need. Families of the hostages seized by Hamas on October 7, 2023, whose numbers swelled to 251 at the outset, are particularly on edge. They fear a wider Israeli offensive could inadvertently endanger loved ones still held inside Gaza. Through a campaign group, these relatives have urged Israeli officials to disclose precise details of their operational plans and explain how they intend to keep the captives safe amid escalating raids. Meanwhile, Gaza's Civil Defense Agency told AFP that overnight strikes killed at least 7 people in Gaza City and the territory's southern regions. The violence on the ground continues even as delegations from Israel and Hamas engage in indirect negotiations aimed at securing a 60-day ceasefire and the release of 10 surviving hostages. Out of the original 251 captives, the Israeli military reports that 49 remain in Gaza, with 27 confirmed dead. Frustration over the stalemate led hundreds of families to gather in Tel Aviv on Saturday, demanding that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. President Donald Trump move swiftly to bring the hostages home and end the war altogether. On another front, Israel says its ground operations have intensified in Jabalia, northern Gaza. According to a military statement, troops have eliminated dozens of terrorists and dismantled hundreds of militant hideouts. They even uncovered an underground tunnel network stretching nearly 2.7 kilometers and lying some 20 meters beneath the surface. Evidence, the army claims, of Hamas's extensive preparations. To put the numbers in perspective, Hamas's October 2023 assault resulted in the deaths of 1,219 people, most of them civilians, based on an AFP tally of official data. In the retaliatory offensive, Gaza's health ministry, run by Hamas, reports that at least 58,765 Palestinians have been killed so far, with a large majority described as civilians. And this is the part most people miss. When civilian lives are viewed as collateral damage in the pursuit of security, who ultimately bears the moral and legal responsibility? Do you believe these forced evacuations are an unfortunate necessity, or do they cross a line that risks more hearts and homes than they protect? We invite you to share your thoughts and join the debate. Except for the headline, this story has not been edited by NDTV staff and is published from a syndicated feed. Breaking. Israel orders Gaza evacuation as ceasefire talks stall with Hamas. Imagine the tension and uncertainty as Israel issues urgent evacuation orders in central Gaza, all while ceasefire negotiations hit a significant impasse. The situation is dire, and the stakes are high. Israel has warned residents in specific areas of central Gaza to evacuate immediately, anticipating imminent military action. This comes as ceasefire talks, aimed at ending the ongoing conflict, have reached a standstill. But here's where it gets controversial. The evacuation orders are not just about safety. They are also about strategic military operations. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, have issued specific instructions for residents in the southwestern area of Deir el-Balah, particularly those living on blocks 130, 132 to 134, 136 to 139, and 2,351, as well as those residing in tents. The IDF spokesperson, Avichay Adraee, emphasized that the military is expanding its operations into new areas of Gaza to target what they refer to as terrorist infrastructure. The Defense Army continues to operate with great force to destroy the enemy's capabilities and terrorist infrastructure in the area, as it expands its activities in this region to operate in an area it has not operated in before, Adraee stated in a recent post on the social platform X. He urged residents to evacuate immediately and move south toward al-Mawasi for their safety. The Associated Press reported that the areas under evacuation orders include locations where foreign aid organizations operate, adding another layer of complexity to the situation. Ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas have been ongoing in Qatar, but mediators have reported no significant progress for months. This lack of progress raises critical questions. What are the underlying issues preventing a breakthrough? And how will the ongoing military operations impact the civilian population and humanitarian efforts in the region? The situation in Gaza is a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the urgent need for a resolution. As the world watches, the fate of thousands of residents hangs in the balance. What are your thoughts on the current situation? Do you believe the evacuation orders are justified, or do they raise ethical concerns? Share your perspectives in the comments below.